All right, so this is from Scouter V. I'm not familiar with this creator, but Bethesda is falling apart before our very eyes. I'm interested to see what's up here.
My dudes, get your lubes! I came back to warn you about what Xbox and Bethesda are doing to Elder Scrolls 6. My god, it's horrible. You'll never believe this, but they...
Who's laughing now?
Oh my
You
god.
dork.
Oh, thank God. It was all a dream. Or was it? Here we go again. Look like a lot of you dudes, I'm a huge fan of Bethesda and that little man known as Todd Howard. But I've got some serious concerns about the future of the Elder Scrolls franchise. After having played the disaster known as Fallout 76 and struggling to get through the new mediocre IP Starfield, I'm sure that a lot of us are hoping that the next Elder Scrolls game is gonna pass Skyrim and set a new standard for open world sandbox RPGs, so we can all jump back on that gay for Todd bandwagon. Maybe some of you dudes haven't noticed, but if you've been playing games for a while, there's been an obvious pattern of AAA companies sacrificing gameplay mechanics and depth to cater to a wider audience, aka dumbing things down. But
oh yeah, Bethesda is one of the most infamous of this shit. It's my biggest concern with Elder Scrolls 6. How are they gonna dumb this down even further from Elder Scrolls Skyrim? Because bro, Skyrim is like, bro, it's hard to justify that Skyrim's an RPG with how fucking ridiculously non-RPG-esque it is. It's kind of hard.
Bethesda is no stranger to this. I'm sure that people who got into the Elder Scrolls series with Skyrim and then went back to play Oblivion or Morrowind would have noticed how many more mechanics there are, like more armor slots, or being able to choose which stats to put your points into. The Fallout series has been getting the same treatment as well, but basically almost everything that makes an RPG an RPG has been slowly chipped away at. Take a look at the amount of skills removed from the games over time. Morrowind had 27 skills to build your character with. They decided to drop it down to 21 in Oblivion. And now Skyrim has only 18, as they've been removing things like spears and throwing weapons, in addition to combining skill trees like axe, sword, and mace into one specialization called one-handed. Maybe some people...
You know, these are all very valid points, man. These are all very valid points. And even my favorite is guilty of this. Even my favorite Oblivion is guilty of dumbing down mechanics. And I have to be objective with that. That's why it's hard for me to go play Morrowind. Because that shit, it's more sophisticated than Oblivion. I think, for me personally, Oblivion is like the good in-between, the good tweener between Morrowind and Skyrim. But that's just a personal opinion. A lot of people think Skyrim is the, you know, that's the one. And then people think, nah, Morrowind having all the mechanics is what made it fire. Morrowind butter. This man is speaking my language. But it is a reality. Every new iteration from Bethesda dumbs down RPG mechanics further and further.
Well, don't think this is a big deal, but removing content from the game takes away the fun of making multiple characters and trying to make your own unique build. On top of that, magic is now the weakest form of combat in the series now, which is why there are so many mods to revamp the entire system. In Morrowind and Oblivion, you could actually create your own custom spells, letting you do some crazy things like making spells that look like nukes. Ah! And don't get me started on the removal of athletics, which lets you jump around the map like some superhero badass. Another thing that's making the game worse is that the series initially had 4 armor types: unarmored, light, medium, and heavy armor. But they removed being able to spec into unarmored, and they completely removed medium armor because they thought it was too complicated. But who are we kidding? They just don't want to model extra gear. And like I said, they've been removing armor slots by doing things like combining chest armor with leg armor in Skyrim. We've gone from 9 equipable armor pieces in Morrowind to 6 in Oblivion, and now just 5 in Skyrim. And it's not like this is something that the players want either. Take a look at Elden Ring and how many unique builds you can make. Almost every player beat the game in their own unique way. I don't know how far they're gonna go with Elder Scrolls 6, but there's obviously a pattern going on here. I mean,
yeah, it's crazy because like the games, bro, the games are not improving in terms of gameplay, in my personal opinion. I think that, like I said, this is a very subjective opinion. I think that Oblivion is the good tweener between the gameplay and the RPG mechanics. Like Skyrim is slightly better. So it's hard to say that. Slightly better, but still not very good. Me and my friends were trying to figure out a good Western RPG game, that had objectively good combat. The only one I could think of is Assassin's Creed, honestly. I'm just saying, really. And to be honest with you, I don't think Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Assassin's Creed. They say Assassin's Creed Odyssey is an RPG. It's not an RPG. I don't think it's an RPG. I'm sorry, bro. That's a reach. The fact that I'm saying that in itself is a fucking reach. I'm just saying. I hate how Skyrim treats dragons. They're just an annoyance. Kingdoms of Amalur, Re-Reckoning did dragons right. A legendary monster that everyone forgot to fear. Yo, Austin speaking facts right now, bro. Kingdoms of Amalur was fire. Dude, people don't put enough respect on Kingdoms of Amalur, man. It is such a fire fucking game.
I mean, did you play Starfield?
I'm due for a replay, honestly.
All the way down to just 3 pieces. A spacesuit, helmet, and a jetpack. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that shit is dumb as fuck. Yo, Starfield is so fucking basic. It is like the most basic bitch gets. Daggerfall had even more right down to giving our characters weaknesses in the CAC menu. Damn, that's in Outer Worlds you could do that.
When are they gonna stop? Do they really think we're all that stupid? Well, yes, actually. Back in 2017, Pete Hines, the senior vice president of global marketing and communications, was getting heat for dumbing down skills in Fallout 4. And he posted this statement.
yeah.
If you're gonna complain to anyone at
Sleepy
Bethesda
Goblin,
on Twitter, don't
game.
bother. We do not care what you think about our decisions on writing, removing skills, or universal retcons in Fallout. We make our games accessible to as many people as possible, including women, and that's what makes sense.
So you're admitting that most women are stupid. That's how very inclusive of you. It's like they know women are stupid.
Yeah.
Yo.
You exposed, bitch. You exposed.
Yo.
If you got no games, you exposed, bitch.
But hey, if we say it, we're bigots, right? If we say it, we're bigots. He's out here outright saying we need to dumb these games the fuck down because most women are stupid. Alright, there's outliers, obviously. But a lot of gamers that happen to be women. The ones that I've encountered, there's only a small percentage of them that are actually intelligent. I'm just, bro. Bro, it's fine. I'll take the L. All right, cancel me. I don't give a fuck. That's not to say a lot of dudes are intelligent. I think a lot of dudes are fucking stupid too. I'm just saying, bro. The mic gets dropped. But it's crazy. Thank you for at least being honest when you were mad, Pete Hines. What did I actually just hear? I don't know, bro. I don't know anymore.
That sounds weird, Pete. What are you trying to say? Some dude replied with, what about older fans who helped build the series, who care about these things?
They don't
Aren't
give
they
a fuck
relevant?
about you.
And get this,
They
Pete
already
replied
got you.
with, look, what we do is our concern. It's our IP and our company. If we decide skills are too complex and unneeded, they aren't needed. So what he is saying is that Bethesda thinks that they need to remove complex skills and concepts in order to make their games more accessible.
I blame DSP for being the example used for gamers in development of God of War 2018.
Yo, you ain't lying, B-Songs. That definitely don't help. But what he's saying is he doesn't give a fuck what you think. Yes, you built his company. You built Bethesda for what it is today. But they're willing to throw you aside in hopes of finding other players. They don't give a fuck about you. That's literally what he's outright saying. We'll do whatever we want. It's our game. It's our company. Who gives a fuck if you actually built our games, if you built our franchises, if you built our company with the support that you've given them? They don't give a fuck about you. That's it.
To people such as women because they think they are too stupid to handle these systems. Wait, I think he kind of has a point.
At least someone says it. Someone has the balls to say it. You married your wife because she was a gamer? Hey, radio chip making the base making the base decisions, man. Fuck yeah, bro.
ブルースカイの人たちにキャンセルされちゃうよ。
ごめん、もう言わないから。 別に気にしないけどさ。
はぁ？喧嘩売ってんの？
いや違う。So get this, last month, Bethesda's Shadow drops the Oblivion remaster, and the game instantly blows up, and rightfully so. The game looks amazing now. I will say that it runs like crap on high settings, but Oblivion was made during the golden age of gaming, where gaming studios could just make what they wanted and not be forced to add a bunch of political nonsense into it. But that's when the drama started. Just like almost every other AAA gaming studio who releases a remake or remaster of an old game, Xbox and Bethesda couldn't just release it like it was without making a bunch of stupid changes to it that literally nobody asked for. I'm sure you've already noticed, but they removed gender from the character creation menu. I know that some people are just gonna say it's just a few words, but if it was just a few words, why was it changed to begin with? That's because it is a big deal. If it wasn't, a big deal, Nexus Mods wouldn't be banning mods that changed it back to male and female.
Bruh, whether you want to admit to it or not, whether you want to have an honest conversation or not, to these sick motherfuckers, it is important to them.
Sorry guys, but I'm never gonna understand how excluding 99% of the players and forcing everybody to play as non-binary characters is inclusive at all. But let's be honest, is this going to be a deal breaker for most gamers? No. If the game is good enough, most people will ignore it. But like I always say, it's an immediate red flag that the game you're playing either has some sort of political messaging in it, or at the very least, some form of censorship that only applies to female characters. I mean, come on, dudes. Do you really think that the weirdos that these gaming companies are paying for to push all of these social changes are just gonna stop at gender? Of course not. And what do you know? Bethesda has gone out of the way to censor female characters in art, and almost every female set of armor has been either toned down or replaced with a male version instead, because these freaks are disgusted by femininity. While making this video, another YouTuber...
That is an objective negative, bro. As much as I like Elder Scrolls Oblivion, and most of it doesn't affect me because I've only ever played as guys in Elder Scrolls Oblivion, it is objectively a negative.
Went in depth about all the changes I was planning to cover here, so I'm just gonna leave a link to her video in the description if you want to see everything for yourself. But to sum it up, they changed almost everything to be more modest, especially around the chest area, and try to cover up more skin. It looks like they just opened up paint and lazily pasted all over them.
Yo, so fucking trash. Oh my god, it looks so trash.
Some skirts have been also made longer as well, and almost every...
I mean, I think they did a better job with the thighs, I'm just saying, but everything else looked doo-doo.
Female statue has been completely reworked, which completely changes the art style of how women are portrayed in the entire series. I also noticed that every zombie was apparently wearing the same pants when they died, which looks stupid, and they are way less creepy than the original. And one thing I personally noticed that
I don't know, I'm not really bothered by that. That's like, old school games used to do that shit a lot, where you'd have like the same fucking NPC bullshit ass character like that with the same pair of pants. That's shit. Hulk uses the same pair of pants. Nobody fucking... You attacking Hulk? Yeah, I don't see what the big deal is. I think they're both pretty disgusting. This is more detailed. I think this looks pretty fucking creepy. Yeah, that I don't agree with. But so far, in terms of that, that's probably the only thing I disagree with this video so far.
And one thing I personally noticed that not many people are talking about is that they put underwear on the dead body of Lucian, who was part of the Dark Brotherhood questline. I mean, come on. Are you telling me he was hung upside down, brutally tortured, and at the very end they put a fresh pair of Hanes on the dude? It's ridiculous. And no, none of this is because of the ESRB. The game was rated M for mature, meaning that Bethesda censored their game for other reasons. Get your tinfoil hats on here, boys, because
I will say this. So, one of my boys was talking about this earlier. And the concern is, like, maybe, just maybe, the ESRB is responsible for this. Because think about it this way: a lot of T-rated games that got remasters ended up being N-rated games, right? The ESRB is clearly more strict than it was 20 fucking years ago. That's a reality. It is. What's to stop these games from getting possibly an adult-only rating? Honestly, I think a lot of us need to start looking into what the ESRB is all about, and really start exposing them for what they are. You know, honestly, it is something that we keep like we'll address occasionally, but we don't actually address the ESRB very much. And who's to say that this shit won't get an adult only rating? Who's to say? I don't know. But we do know that the ESRB is stricter than before. Let me see. I think we were talking that Oblivion was rated T for teen back on 360. Let me see. The 360 version, Elder Scrolls Oblivion, was initially rated T for teen by the ESRB, was later changed to M for mature. The change occurred in May 3rd of 2006, was due to content not fully disclosed during the original rating submission, including more detailed depictions of blood and gore. So it started as a T for teen, then changed. It was addressed during 360 era for M. Because skooma. That's good information, but the reality is it's even less of a stretch because I thought it was just a T rating. Um, and that's not the case. It was then made an M rating, and the ESRB is more strict back, now than it was before. So who knows? Who knows why they're doing this? At the end of the day, this is all speculation. We can't confirm for sure. But we need to start harassing the ESRB. I'm just saying, bro. For answers in Minecraft. I mean, what? I'm just saying, brother. There's something clearly wrong here. There's something clearly fucking wrong here. And maybe somebody gotta start exposing some shit that the ESRB's been up to, really. Did TTS break? Well, shout out to Chartar for the 2. Says shout out to Lindo for the ESRB theory. Hell yeah.
Personally, I think the main reason they shadow dropped the remaster was to avoid controversy and gauge the reaction to the censorship and body type change in preparation for the next Elder Scrolls title. And I'm glad that so many people are calling them out, because I'm so sick of this bullshit.
Ooh, Todd, oh yeah, you made a lot of promises to the Macho Man, didn't you? Promises that you didn't keep. But letting Xbox ruin the Elder Scrolls takes a lot of guts, brother. Which is great, because that's all that's gonna be left all over the map after WrestleMania 5!
He's lost his mind. Close on. Another one. It's over. Uh-oh, he's signaling. He can taste it. He smells it.
Oh my god. Yeah, get his ass. Get his ass.
Why would Bethesda do this to
Yo, Striker was getting ready. What you been up to, dog?
a 20-year-old fan-loved game? Well, I don't think it was Bethesda's fault at all. I covered a lot of this in my Avowed video, but I'm gonna say it here again. Xbox is currently forcing their worldviews and design philosophies into every single one of their studios instead of letting them create what they want. No, this isn't some conspiracy. They proudly state what they're doing on their website. It's all under product inclusion action. Help customers feel seen. Are you reinforcing any negative gender stereotypes? Are you necessarily introducing gender and gender barriers into your code or design? This explains the stupid body type 1 and 2 bullshit and why they censored the private part area of the zombies and Lucian. They think that having male and female is an unnecessary gender barrier for the you-know-who's.
How can I describe you?
I'm not
What happened,
Thank you for coming in.
Are you creating playable female characters that are equal in skill and ability to their male peers? If you played the original game, you might have noticed that female and male characters had different physical capabilities, and it reflects on their stats, as you can see here. You know, just like in real life. Well, Xbox doesn't like that. I wonder why. So they went out of their way to add this origin system, which changes your stats instead of gender, removing something that made this game so unique. It's just so stupid. Are your female characters equipped with clothing and armor that fits their tasks? And there it is, my dudes. This explains the censorship and why they are moving away from armor designed for female bodies and making them all wear the bulky male versions instead. We saw a ton of this in Avowed 2, which is why the female guards look terrible and completely out of place. So do all these changes.
I love playing Avowed, but every woman in it might as well have been my bro. When I was playing Avowed, and given I didn't finish the game, but every fucking woman in it just was clueless, even though like the game was insinuating that they had something to respect about them besides the one chick that everyone was kind of afraid of. Um Besides her, it's like every woman that you were supposed to go talk to was supposed to be knowledgeable. And then when you talk to them, they didn't know fucking anything. They didn't know fuck all. They were a bunch of fucking Riris. It's like, why is every woman respected but stupid? I was like, what the fuck? I feel like YouTube sabotaging the stream a little bit. How so? Oh, did we get hit with a shitty... Uh-oh. If it's fucked up, refresh. I think we're good, though. But, yeah, it's like, it's one of those things with Avowed. It's like, they told you, go talk to this female. They'll give you some information on this. And then you talk to them. They don't know what the fuck. They don't know shit. It's kind of hilarious. Yo, Nick. But, my bad. Sorry about the stream being shit.
Completely ruin the game. No, that's not what this video is about. Honestly, the remaster is just as fun as the original, so you're gonna see a ton of people who don't care about any of these changes at all. But I'm telling you guys, you're not seeing the whole picture. The worst part of this whole situation is that the next Elder Scrolls game will be the first in the series to be built entirely on Xbox's core values from the ground up, which is going to affect everything from writing, world building, and art. It's gonna feel and look completely different than what we're all used to and love. Here's some quick examples.
That's a fair point. That is concerning. He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Of how Bethesda usually writes. This one's from Skyrim.
Everything's for sale, my friend. Everything. If I had a sister, I'd sell her in a second.
Yo. I do remember that line. I do remember that shit.
And here's another one from Oblivion.
By the way, do you happen to know what the fine is here in Cyrodiil for necrophilia? Just asking. Let's assume... no. That's nothing compared to Morrowind, thanks.
These types of jokes and funny lines are going to be completely absent in future titles because these weirdos are going to think it's offensive to women. And we've already gotten a sneak peek on how bad the writing is going to be with Starfield. We're all going to be non-stop bombarded with these immersion-breaking, strong, independent, don't need no man female leaders that talk down to these soy men constantly. And I'm not just talking out of my ass. Literally everything on this page was used in Starfield and Avowed. Do they have exaggerated body proportions? Bam.
Okay, to be fair, was Avowed in development before Obsidian was bought? You're worried for Elder Scrolls 6. I think that you're delusional if you're not worried about Elder Scrolls 6. There's so many reasons to be concerned. But I think this is more of a valid opinion than fucking pointing at 3 female workers and saying it's their fault. It's their fault. It's like, no, like, let's talk about the overarching issue with Microsoft as a whole.
Say goodbye to fun bags, my dudes. Probably the worst one of all these, though, is what percent of screen time, on-screen presence,
have a good night, brother.
Lines,
Appreciate you hanging out.
Are held by different gender, racial identities. I think this locked post on the Starfield Steam forums sums this one up perfectly. Are white men extinct in Starfield? I can barely see them anywhere. I have a feeling they are extinct like dinosaurs. And he's exactly right. Since these studios now have quotas to meet for diversity, instead of making a believable world, we all have to deal with these half-assed, ugly NPCs sprinkled all over that take you right out of the damn game.
This doesn't make any sense.
They are ugly. They're ugly as fuck. But to be honest with you, so my main issue was the fat bitches, though. That was the main one. But I will say this: even if there were more white people in Starfield, they would still look ugly either way. No matter what, they would just look ugly as fuck in the face.
Another thing I gotta bring up is that I am disappointed in and where the next game is gonna take place. Nothing has been confirmed yet, and people are still debating on it. Who are we kidding here, dudes? Take a look at all the races. We all know what went down at Bethesda.
What's that demographic? Black people. They're gonna love that idea.
That's right, the Red Guards. I'm calling it here right now. The next Elder Scrolls game is gonna take place in Hammerfell. And don't get it twisted, I'm not saying that this means that the game's gonna suck. I think Redguard lore, and if they add ships to sail around the world in, has a ton of potential if done right. But it's a
Isn't the leak confirm that there's going to be like, because fucking Power Boss knows a little bit about the leaks and the insider shit. But there's supposed to be like ships and stuff, right? Which is something that I'm totally disinterested in. The more they try to do like the customization of your fucking like the whole spaceship customization shit, I was totally just out of. Like when it comes to Starfield, I didn't give a fuck. But there's supposed to be like ships and stuff in the next Elder Scrolls, I've heard, right? Power Boss. I think I heard that from you if I'm not mistaken.
a huge letdown to have another game based on real-world looking human areas. When we just had 2 in a row, Cyrodiil had a European setting, and Skyrim was more of a Nordic Viking theme. Hammerfell is just gonna be covered in brown.
Just say motherfucker.
Yasuke, chill. I'm just saying it's gonna take place in a desert area. What makes Morrowind so awesome is how unique the landscape and the creatures are. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that feels this way, dudes. I'm willing to bet that if you polled every single Bethesda fan, Redguards and Hammerfell would be the lowest on the list. We could have had a unique game based around orcs, Argonians, or elves. Hell, I'll even take the furries. And before
I will say this, bro. If you're crying about this now, where the fuck were you when everyone was dick-eating Skyrim? Skyrim is one of the most boring looking video games I've ever fucking played. It is visually so fucking uninteresting. It's so uninteresting. Oh my god. If it somehow gets any more boring than Skyrim, yeah, I'm definitely tapped the fuck out. And to be fair, Starfield ain't much better. I don't even necessarily think Starfield is better. I just think Starfield is so bare bones that I was just able to run through the bitch. Kind of just like, it's bare as fuck. Let me just run through this shit. It's simple. I default to getting to fundamentals than anything that tries to be slick and sophisticated. I was able to ignore all the bullshit creative bullshit around Starfield. I just bought like a big ass ship and just kept it moving. I was able to ignore all that other dog shit. So I was fine there, but oh my god, I hate how boring Skyrim looks. If it somehow gets more boring than that, it's like, oh god. Paramount says, yeah, NW area is supposed to have shipbuilding similar to Starfield, but sea-based, also bringing in base building like Fallout 4 from home base. Can't wait to hopefully ignore all of that shit. I hate base building. Fallout 4 base building is fucking awful to me. And some of you guys love it. Shout out to y'all. I cannot fucking stand that shit. I can't stand it. I hate it with every fucking fiber of my being. I think there's one part of Fallout 4 where they kind of make you do that shit to like prepare for like a battle or something, bro. I did it kicking and fucking screaming. Kicking and screaming. I've loved Skyrim, but I love RPGs, but I love RPGs, but mods for both games make them a million times better. Can I just mod out all the shit bullshit? All that stuff, can I just mod it the fuck out of the game? So trash. Oh my god. Base building of Fallout 4 was over limited. Bro, it's too much. Even if it was a little bit, it's still too much. I hate all that shit. I hate that shit so much. Lois says the Redguard region could be good if done right, but I think the one I want the most is Somerset Isle, where the High Elves are from. But you know that they would do High Elves racism right in 2025. Oh no, they won't do High Elf racism right in 2025. Oh man. So I would prefer, usually I kind of end up preferring So I hate I hate deserts generally speaking, and I hate snow areas generally speaking. I think I would prefer the desert area over the snow area. I hated Skyrim because I hate snow areas in games. I hate it. I can't stand it. I hate it so fucking much. Ooh, I hate that shit. High elves are also in Daggerfall. I think, I think a little Morrowind. Cast no becoming Griffin. Who is Griffin, bro? I'm not out of breath. All right, I've been talking for almost a little over 6 hours, and I'm still not out of breath yet. And I've gone on multiple rants, so there's no way I could become Griffin unless my health very severely degrades it very quickly. So.
Before I get any weird comments, if you think that black people only make red guards and that's all that they're interested in, there's something wrong with you, not me. And get this, dudes, Bethesda already made a game called The Elder Scrolls Redguard. It was a commercial flop, but they're gonna try again. Why? I don't know, dudes. Maybe I'm gonna be completely...
To be fair, how long ago did that fucking game come out? We're talking about a game. Guys, we're talking about a game that came out in 1998. I was 5. In all fairness, I was 5. Now, I will say this. A pirate aspect to Elder Scrolls could be interesting. It could be interesting. Now you're old. Bro, to be like, this failed in 1998. Why would you try again? Motherfucker, it's 2025. Like, we're talking about like fucking 28 fucking years ago? Like, just because the game failed, fucking failed 28 years ago, doesn't mean maybe it isn't acceptable. No, don't revisit it now. Like, I think that's a silly argument to make. I think that's genuinely silly. Now, I'm not necessarily saying I want an Elder Scrolls in Hammerfell. Honestly, I think I would be sus about Elder Scrolls taking place in any new area at this point. I'm just sus. I'm just super sus with anything. But I don't think that that's necessarily a disqualifier. Oh my god, the original game failed fucking 28 years ago. Why would you go back there? I just think that's a silly argument to make. You were like 15 or 16 in 98. God damn, bro. I'm pretty sure I had a Packard Bell in 98, so I was an OG PC gamer. I mean, what? I was also made to work with a specific game engine, so the game ran like literal ass. Really? God damn.
Wrong, and honestly, I hope I am. I grew up
playing
Bethesda
army
games, and I still want
Trunks,
them to
you joined the army.
But all the signs are pointing
like the
to
army
another disappointing title unless they return to their
Holy
roots
shit, bro.
and stop trying to cater to people who don't even play their games. Either way, we still have the old games to go back to, and with the soon-to-be-released fan remakes of Morrowind and Oblivion, all entirely rebuilt on the Skyrim version of the Creation Engine, Elder Scrolls fans are going to be eating good for years. And if you're into open-world RPG games, I would suggest checking out Tainted Grail, as it feels like a mixture of Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim all combined, with a lot of that old school feel that Bethesda has
There is a lot of old school feel with the game. I'm not gonna lie. Damn. People are really digging Tainted Grail, man. Low key, I kind of want to go back and play a little more. I'm not gonna lie. Tainted Grail is a very interesting game. It does have its dankness, but if you're looking for that old school sort of creepy vibe in game, Tainted Grail is definitely an interesting one. But that was a pretty good video. I'll give it a thumbs up. I don't agree with everything he was saying, but he does make some very good points. And generally, I think that his conversation was a more fruitful conversation than Grums's dog shit ass retarded, outright fucking retarded Twitter post.